Hi, family. How are you? I'm so glad to be back with you today. It is African Osorenko, and I am back at you with another video. I'm sorry, family. Um, I have been coming in and out. I'm trying to take care of my health. Just coming from the gym to do some workout. We have to get ourselves together as we get older because we want to continue to live healthy as we can and as blessed as we can. So, family, I am here to talk about Kamala Harris and her presidential run for office. And so, my concern is what is her support of Black people who are calling and asking, and who have been calling and asking for reparations and for a crime bill for protection. Um, you know, Many politicians, admittedly will say they understand that in America there has been so many things that have occurred, against Black people, so many things that have, you know, enabled the oppression of Black people, so many things that have held us back, and despite all of those things that are going on in America, we still are able to thrive. However, family, thriving, as they say, and pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, which there are no bootstraps, and thriving in fairness and as it should be here in America, it's not, something that um, other communities have to think about. Other communities are not sabotaged the way Black Americans are sabotaged. You know, Black Americans or freedmen, those of us that are freedmen, that our ancestors were slaves here in America. Black Americans are sabotaged on a daily basis on everything. Okay, from banking to housing to employment, to home loans, to every aspect within America. Black Americans have been sabotaged, have been attacked, have been kept back, have been, limited in every aspect of America. Well, family, my thing is the interview that Kamala Harris did, a few years ago when she was running as vice president under Joe Biden as president. And when asked by the reporter, uh, would she believe it or would she support reparations? And she gave all of these reasons that, you know, she understands that Black people in America, we had slavery, we had Jim Crow, we had redlining, we had unjustly, criminal cases against Black men and women. Black people put in jail for crimes they didn't commit, or put in jail at a higher rate, given the worst sentences and things for crimes where, drug related, no violent crimes. And I'm not saying that people uh, should not be reprimanded and punished for drug related crimes. What I'm saying is that right now there are a lot of Caucasians and other groups that are suffering through the opioid addiction problems. And the way that situation is being treated in comparison to how the crack epidemic was treated is polar opposite. It's polar opposite because, uh, we already know when our community was affected by crack, they were throwing people in jail. They were throwing grandmothers in jail. They were throwing grandfathers in jail. They were throwing children, young people in jail. They were doing things like that. And now they have programs for people that are addicted to opioid. They have, telling officers not to arrest the people. You know, They tore our community apart with the laws that they created for the crack epidemic, and they're not doing the same thing for this epidemic. So, my question for Kamala Harris is, what are you going to do about all of the oppression and everything that Black people in America has suffered? What are you going to do to make it better, so to speak? Okay, and this is a question that's a realistic question because we'd like to know in the Black community. So listen to this, family. I want you to listen to Kamala speak with the reporter and what she says about the Black community.
Support reparations for Black people. Well, listen, again, we had over 200 years of slavery. We had Jim Crow for almost a century. We had legalized discrimination and segregation, and now we have segregation and discrimination that is not legal but still exists and is a barrier to progress. We have disparities around housing. We have disparities around education. We have disparities around income. And we have to recognize that everybody did not start out on an equal footing in this country. And in particular, Black people have not. And so we have got to recognize that and do something about that and give folks a lift up. That's why, for example, I'm proposing the LIFT Act. Give people who are making $100,000 or less as a family a tax credit, which will benefit and uplift 60% of Black families who are in poverty. So by default, it affects Black families, but there's not a particular policy for African Americans that you would explore. But no, if you look at the reality of who will benefit from certain policies, when you take into account that they're not starting at the same place and they're not starting on equal footing, it will directly benefit Black children, Black families, Black homeowners, because the disparities are so significant.
So I'm not going to do anything specifically for Black people, but I'm going to do something for everybody. And so everybody can benefit from whatever policies that I'm going to input, but not just Black people. However, Black people in particularly were the ones targeted with all of these other policies that were created, by Democrat and Republican, politicians, redlining, Jim Crow, different things like that. So these things were specifically created to oppress Black people, but we can't do anything specifically and create something specifically for Black people to as a help, as a support, or as a restructured, something that we can restructure to help Black people.
So if we focus on the specific issues that have resulted in the greatest disparities, and we understand that that's part of why we're doing it. Listen, the reality also is this: any policy that will benefit Black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No, because whatever benefits that Black family will benefit that community and society as a whole and the country. Right?
And so, family, I'm going to stop it right there because that is my problem with Kamala Harris. That is my whole issue with her. So, even though we caused issues for the Black community, we caused issues with them the ability for them to buy homes, the ability for them to gain gainful employment, equal employment, equal pay, the ability for us to get loans, for bank loans and home loans. But they'll give you a car loan, and they'll give you a loan for education. They'll give you a school loan. They'll give you a car loan. But we don't want to take a chance on you getting a bank loan for business or a home loan because you may not pay it back. This is what I'm saying. This is my whole issue with this woman. I'm not saying vote for her. I'm not saying don't vote for her. You vote for who you feel you align with their policies and what they're going to do for your community our community. Okay. But what I am saying is we have to really listen to what politicians are telling us. We have to use our brains and we have to use our smarts. We cannot go into this election, okay, on in November, just voting for this woman because she's black. Because many black people voted for Barack Obama because he was black. Barack Obama put in policies for DACA for Hispanic Americans. Okay. Barack Obama did not put in any specific policies for Black Americans. And this is the same thing that Kamala is saying, doing. Family, what I'm saying is this: it comes to a point that we have to really wake up and use our brains. Our ancestors that went who engaged in the bus boycott. Of course, it took them out of the box. It was difficult. A lot of them, when they got off work, they were tired and exhausted. They wanted to get on the buses. I'm sure they did because they were tired, but they stuck to their guns, family. They came together as a people for one cause, and they stuck to their guns, and it worked, family. And if we don't do something similar, we will continue to spin our wheels and we won't get anything. It makes no sense to go out here and vote for Democrats when the Democrats are not proving to be our allies. They're not doing anything for us. And I would never tell you to vote for the Republicans because the Republicans have not did jack you know what for us at all either. What I am saying is look at both parties and the independent party as well. Look at all three parties and choose a candidate that aligns with your wants and needs in your particular community, not because the candidate is black or woman. It makes no sense to me. I'm a black woman, and there's a whole issue on the black woman thing because a lot of people feel like she's not a black woman, and personally, I feel like she didn't identify as a black woman in the beginning. Okay, she did not. She identified as an Indian woman because her mom is Indian, and I get it. I get it, but don't now come identifying as a black woman. Well, you should have been identifying as a black woman. So, family, I'm saying we have to be smart when we go to the polls this fall because our very lives depend on it, as our children's lives. I'm not worried about Agenda 2025 because technically, Black people have been living Agenda 2025 for over 400 years in America. We really have. We really have to be real with ourselves and understand this. We've been living in a system that has been purged against us since we made it here, or those of us that were already here. We've had a system that was completely rigged against us. So now is the time for us to come together, for us to be united as one, and vote for a candidate that will be for our people and that will give us tangibles, or don't vote for anyone. If no one will give us tangibles, we should withhold our vote. I don't want to hear nobody saying our ancestors died for us to vote. No, our ancestors died for us to have equality. Voting blue, no matter who, does not give us equality. Voting for someone that will give our community tangibles is what we should be doing. Someone that will put in a crime bill, an anti-black crime bill. I mean, Black people are being killed left and right, and nobody is doing anything about it. No one on either side, the left or the right, because they are the the left and the right wing of the same bird. It's not a different bird, family. It's the same bird. And we have to get that. We go out here and we vote on emotions and feelings, and nobody should be voting for Trump, black men, just because he put some money in your pocket when he was in the president's office. What is he going to do for your people now? Money in a few black men's pockets or black women's pockets doesn't mean anything for your communities. We have to think smarter, black people. If nobody offers us any policies that we're looking for, anti-black crime bill, reparations, fairness and equality, and in housing, fairness and equality in loans for businesses. No, why should we vote for anybody? The federal government owes us because we pay taxes. In fact, our communities pay more taxes than anybody. And often these are the poorest communities. They raise our taxes within our communities all the time. We're black people are carrying this country. We really are. And we're carrying these wars. We're funding them. We're funding everything. And I'm not saying other communities are not. I'm just saying, as a brunt hold, we are funding everything. We have more buying power than any other community in this country. We had 40, I think it was, we had, black women that raised, I want to say 40 million or $50 million in one night for Kamala Harris, you know? And my thing, look, I'm not hating on anybody and anything, but my thing is if we can raise that kind of money for a political candidate, why can't we, why are our communities in disorganized, you know, why are our communities in the condition that they are? In dysfunction and chaos, and some of them unclean with abandoned houses. Why aren't we buying up houses in our community so that we can ensure who rents to them? Instead, we're letting the Asians and the Hispanics, as well as the whites, buy up the homes in our communities and then make them slum neighborhoods. Jack up the rent, put whoever they put in them, Pookie in them, because that's who they usually rent to, Mrs. Pookie, you know, and 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 then our communities are in disarray. It is high in crime and everything because we're not controlling it, family. If we can put that kind of money together for a political candidate, imagine how we could transform our communities. And I'm not pocket watching any one family, but we have to be real with ourselves. We have to do what's better for our community and work together, Black men and Black women, and the young Black people that are coming up now. So, family, I hope that, we have a couple of months yet before the election. And I believe that we should be looking at the representatives. Who's going to represent us in the Senate and everything? Who's going to represent us in Congress? Who's going to represent us in the White House? And I know typically, we don't believe, we believe the electoral vote, is the vote that supports the winning candidate, but we still have to get behind. See, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter who wins because the black community is still the left out community. We're still the left out community. But what matters is what we show them. That's what matters, is that we show them we will not continue to be used in the manner that we have been used by the Democrats. And we won't even let the Republicans use us either. That's what matters, family. That's what we have to think about when we go into those polls in November. So, family, I thank you so much for joining me. I wish you, each and all of you, every one of you, a blessed rest of your day. Think about what we're doing when we go into polls, family, and let's come together. Let's come together. Let's show these people that we mean business. And this time, either give us something out of the deal or get your votes from where you give. Get your votes from where you give. All right, family. Thank you so much. I thank you so much for coming, for watching. Please click uh, subscribe. Please like, please share, and come again. Thank you, family. Have a blessed one. Bye bye.